try again.
Move out your way, me tiller.
Sorry dear. After last week's attempt, we've had the diesel tank replaced. I'll show you later. Well, not
Temporary one put in place.
Yeah, we had a 23 litre temporary tank put in place with fresh diesel in to see if that's the engine running better. So far in the marina it seems much better, doesn't it?
100 times better.
But we'll see, the only real test is go out on the cut, so that's what we're going to do. We're off that, even though the weather's pretty horrible. I've got 3 or 4 days off work, so we're going to try and have a bit of a cruise. See how it goes really.
See if we can arrive at Stansted Abbots.
Yeah, so we're approaching the marina entrance, so it's going to be fun. Meanwhile, as you may have seen if you follow me on Instagram, Narrow Boat Adventures, we're now
Our grandparents.
Oh, you're poking me. As you may have seen on my Instagram feed, if you follow me, Narrow Boat Adventures, we're now grandparents. Our beautiful little daughter has given us a granddaughter.
An even beautiful
Delilah Rose Baker Williams. Absolutely beautiful. And I'll put a little picture here now to show you. Isn't she sweet? Anyway, we may even see her on this trip. She'll meet us later on. Right, we better negotiate the train. It's so noisy. We better negotiate this. It's a bit tight, so we'll come back and see you when we've moored up later on or whatever. Hopefully the rain's going to hold off. We really hope so. We'll see, won't we?
You want to go left there?
Left here.
Hell of a route.
Well, he's been watching us get out of the marina. Were you impressed?
Yeah.
I did my best. Look at the horns on him. And here we're off down the store, and the first lock is 100 yards or so, a couple 100 yards after we left the navigation.
I've got my tiller.
So I better get ready. Linda's happy, she's undoing locks.
Just a question, because I have to leave those gates open. I still put the paddles
Down, yeah. We leave them open because it's a river, in case people are wondering.
Put the paddles
Yeah, you definitely put paddles down. There's Teddenbury Lock. That's where we are. Trains again. And so there's our marina, so we haven't come far. And now we're slowly going down. Here we are.
I have to do all the work. The locks, the steering, the cleaning, the painting, everything. Me? Oh, and the cooking.
I've just been steering.
Yeah. Where's your evidence? This is fabulous.
It's February, it's not raining.
No, it's a bit nippy.
Forecast with showers and rain most of the week.
And as soon as we got to the marina, just about to empty the car, the skies opened, and my coat was actually on the boat. So
It chucked it down, didn't it? Chucked it down. Unfortunately the rain started, it was predicted. So we'll see how far on we go. This is Sawbridgeworth Lock, and again there was a boat in front of us. So we've not had much luck. There's like 2 boats out today. Us and one other in front of us as far as I can tell. So yeah, we're at Sawbridgeworth Lock. Sawbridgeworth's a lovely little town. Loads of antique places in a big sort of next to a train station. Well worth a visit. You know, if you're not for driving here, but if you're travelling say in your boat, I think Sawbridgeworth place would be a great place to moor up, have a little pot around. Nice little town. Get your provisions. Anyway, I better pay attention to what I'm doing. Otherwise Linda will be moaning at me. lock done, Linda.
Yep.
So now
It's past Silbridgeworth Lock or somewhere.
we're not actually fully into it. We've gone past the train station.
We're not. No,
No,
I think it's that's the next lock. Oh no, my boots got wet.
I think we're all going to go wet. At least we're out and about. We're doing our best, and the engine's running. The charging lights on. Not sure how long the batteries will last tonight. We'll have to see. That's something we're learning. It's great, isn't it, to have another learning experience where we're trying things out.
Yeah, we've just been through Sawbridge Lock, and the next one is Mill Lane Bridge. Shearing Mill Lock, sorry.
That's the one pretty much in the town centre, isn't it?
Coming in, and then it's Shearing Mill Lock, and then we're the other side out. And then it's Pishy, I don't know, it's Pishybury Lock
Fishbury.
House, and all round there. That's where Beckenham Palace was.
Oh yeah, the Beckenhams. Posh and Becks. Now, what to do?
Oop.
You.
Wally head. It's got to be a wally head.
Don't slide, just lean on the top and lean back because it comes with you. This is lovely, isn't it? Some of the places around here.
Yeah, whether we've walked here in the summer, it is absolutely beautiful, and I think I wanted to buy 1 or 2 houses along here. Then I looked at the price and I thought, really like my house.
Come with your own mooring, don't I? 1 or 2.
Yep, but they're still very expensive.
Good morning all. Here we are on the Stort. What a beautiful, beautiful morning. Even a hint of sunshine coming through the cloud. There's the lock we're going through next. So here's Linda doing the lock. So we did some cruising for 1.5 hours, 2 hours, something like that.
An hour and a half.
And it started off dry, started spitting and got wetter and wetter and wetter. And so we've moored up.
Yes, because the skies really did open up.
And actually, as we moored up, it looked a bit drier, but then it's opened up. So we're having a cup of tea, some beautiful cake made by my good lady wife. And our plans are stay here, move on, do whatever really. So we're just going to chill out, enjoy ourselves, and that's it really.
Yeah.
Right, let's do that.
Canal time.
On the last vlog I talked about, apart from a diesel bug problem, which is definitely fixed, I talked about the charging not working. That's fine now, charging lights working away. Everything needs to be charging up, the batteries are charging up, the inverter's not making a noise like last time. And there's one reason why, and it's a bit odd, because I said I didn't know what all these switches and stuff were, but I'll go and show you what I've done or what I've investigated and how it seems to have solved it. So it does seem okay now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Inverter's working, everything's charging.
Well, it's not noisy anymore, is it?
No.
That was amazing.
It kicks in now and again, but
is it?
as it should do. So I'll go and show you over in there with some equipment I borrowed from school where I teach physics, which will help me understand what was going on. Right, come and have a look. Now in the past I've mentioned these controls here, which I've about got the hang of, and the volt was fine. The switch is on the left, that switches from one battery pack to another. I've got the hang of that one. I'm still not sure what that one does. It says D and W or D and S on it or other. But I don't worry about it anymore because that's not the problem. They're just monitoring ones. This is how the system works. Just get me light, sorry. This is how the system works on the boat. Many of you are aware of this kind of thing. When we're linked into the shore link, hey, guess what? We take this plug here, which supplies the AC to the boat, plug it into there, everything works on the AC. When you're running off the inverter, you plug it into this one here, and it runs off the inverter. Now, last time we went out, the batteries weren't charging properly, if at all. The charger light wasn't working, and the batteries went flat, and it was a bit of a disaster really. We weren't sure what was going on. Well, I've had a bit of a look around, a bit of a poke, and I've also got this switch, which I didn't know really what it was. Spur to engine compartment, and the bottom bit says battery charger. Well, I know what the bottom bit is, battery charger. I'm not sure what spur to engine compartment is. So what I wanted to do is investigate why it seemed to be overloading the inverter, which had the fan on. So I got this bit of equipment. I'll just borrow my light. I borrowed this from work. Now this device here is a power energy cost meter, as it says on there. And what you do is you plug that end into the normal mains, and then you plug your mains device into that plug, and on the readout it can tell you what the current is, what the voltage is, power, loads of really interesting information. In fact, if you input the cost per unit, you can work out how much it costs to run a kettle and things like that. Quite a useful device. Anyway, so I plugged obviously that end into one of the plug sockets, and then checked to plug the inverter in and from the shore link when I was on the shore. What I discovered basically was a couple of interesting things. The current on the shore link was over an amp when I was connected to the mains, and I fiddled around with this switch and tried different settings, and it changed it quite a lot. So obviously you want it on battery charger, I assume. I don't know what spur to engine compartment is when you're connected to the shoreline, which I was. It's now in a different position, you'll see. What I know, I connected up the inverter. What I noticed was the current was about 0.1 amps, 0.15 or something or other, when I was on the spur to engine compartment setting, and when I was on the battery charger setting, I was on about half an amp. No, a bit more, one and a bit amps or something like that. So why was the inverter powering the battery charger? Because obviously the inverter doesn't want to do that. So what I've done, pretty obvious if you know, is I connect to battery charger when the engine's running and the batteries seem to be charging. Big shock. I then turn that to the other position. I'm not sure what that does. When the engine's not running, the inverter fan turns off, because I was worried about the inverter fan all the time. I had to disconnect it last time, and everything charges up. So I think I've sorted the problem. If anybody knows what spur to engine compartment is, drop me a comment. But yeah, so far we're only on day 2 of our little trip, but so far everything is going really, really well with the electrics. So fingers crossed. Morning. Well, it's day 3, second morning, I suppose, really. We've had 2 nights on the boat, moored up in not far from Harlow, as you know. But I mentioned about the diesel tanks being replaced, so I thought I'd show you what they've done. Obviously, the present diesel tank, the normal one, is full of muck. It seems that way because the engine runs great. So they put a temporary one on. I'll just show you what it looks like. So there's my engine, and as you can see, there is a temporary tank. It's got a little fuel gauge on it. It's about half full at the moment. 20 odd litres, 25 litres, plus we've bought a jerry can with 20 litres of diesel in, just in case we needed some. There seems to be a small diesel leak they warned us about. It's not a vast amount, because a lot of that was there when we started, but it's always little yellow leads there. Apparently they're a bit hard and brittle. They noticed this when they were working in there, so they said give it a test, and then when we remove that afterwards, they'll replace those as well. So yeah, just some more little teething problems, but nothing huge. Okay, got to start the engine now, make sure that's okay. This is where we moored for the night on the Stort. So a typical Stort mooring really. Fairly high bank, some are much higher. You have to jump across, get the plank. It's not too bad at all. It's a lovely little place. Obviously that's where we've come from down there. And off towards Harlow, what's it called, Moorhen Marina this morning, where we'll empty the use the L-SAN, empty the bins and sort the stuff out. It's all going pretty well really. The river's pretty high today, as you'd expect I suppose, all that rain we've had. It has rained a lot. In fact, quite a lot of on the side on the left here, over here, there's flood water and it's broke its banks, and yeah, it's quite heavy. Although the flow is not too ridiculously fast, is it really? And we're fine on that. Here you can see, look, some runoff here on the left. As you can see, it's overflowing quite well there.
We do it.
Nah. But yeah, it's quite, that's a runoff there. And we're approaching Bridge 21.
Yeah. I've got your dustpan and brush for the fire.
Thank you. Uh-oh. Chimney.
Oh.
We forgot to remove a chimney. Oh, bollocks. Can't stop it. Oh well. A learning curve.
We could have learnt that from yesterday.
This is a bit high. Low rather, high. We should have learnt something. That's interesting, look on the left there. Is that like a guillotine sluice or something? Ransoms Rapier Limited. Oh, you can tell. Yeah, look at the runoff.
It's like a little bridge.
Yeah, and there's a weir here. You can see it running off the side. There's going to be quite a current here.
Ransom
So I'll get
and Rapier Limited.
Ransoms and Rapier. Yeah.
Ipswich, England, 1931.
Now look here, I need to keep myself away from that because there's a bit of a current there.
Right.
Look at that down there.
I suggest you put this.
I would suggest that river is a little bit high.
Wow.
Beautiful though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the sun's just come. I'm watching. And the sun's just come out. And it looks to me like those mooring posts ahead were at the next lock. Yep. So I'll concentrate now on what I'm doing. Get ready for the lock. Latin Lock 9. This is bridge number 20 and the lock's nearly empty. In fact, the gate's opening. So let's progress. Linda's enjoying having a good drive, and you can see another weir here, water chucking down, very very heavy. But even better is it's a beautiful day, and I don't want to blind the camera, but the sun's out over there, and sun reflecting off the river. It's beautiful. So we're approaching Harlow Marina soon, I think.
No, it's called Moorhead Marina.
Oh sorry, yeah, Moorhead Marina.
The
Yeah,
one that's there.
on the, yes, that's the one. There's the train station, Harlow train station, and we've got to get in the marina now to go and get some fuel, empty the L-SAN and whatever. So, let's go in there. We're at the water point, emptied the L-SAN. I wasn't at all nearly sick, and we're now sorting out the water, but we've got no hose, and I connected it up. One of the connections is missing, and this bit inside wasn't connected up at all, so when I finally connected it, the tap water poured everywhere. Good time with testing things. Now I needed the tap attachment, the screw one, and we haven't got one. I thought it was included in this kit and it wasn't, so we're sitting there looking at each other going, oh dear, what are we going to do? And I found, that's why this is all on by the way, I found next to the tap on the floor somebody had left their screw one. Which means
You have to get a screw one and leave a screw one on for the next person.
I'm using one that I found.
Where's the knife?
And hang on. And so hopefully this wraps up a bit long. I just need the water key to undo the water key, and we can get the water on. Also, top tip for new boaters, when you do fill, or hirers, when you do fill the water, run a load of water through the hose pipe first, because otherwise you've got stagnant water sat in there sometimes for days, sometimes weeks, sometimes we don't know. Make sure, right, I think we're about ready to get filling. Straight after the moorhen we come to the next lock. Not sure what this one's called yet. It's quite a walk across the bridge to get to it on the left. There's some building work going on to our left, hence beep beep beep. Kettle was whistling like crazy inside because Linda put it on before we got to the lock. But it looks like it's about full now, so I'll be able to pot her in. So we're at Burnt Mill Lock 10, and this has got the luxury of push button electronic gates, but you still have to wind the paddles up, as Linda found. But here we go, look, just press the button and away we go. Not very high lock this one, it's only a few feet. Right, beggar off. There's the climbing wall at Harlow, the rock. There's a lot of facilities here. Oh, there's the sun shining, that's where we've just come from. And what's weird for us living around here is the bridge we're about to go under, we've driven over thousands of times. Going to Harlow from our house, not far away at all. But really I've been lucky with the weather, this is just staying beautiful. Fishermen have got good weather too. And Linda's just pouring the tea that I made when she was in the lock. This is what you call a good morning, and I believe there's a piece of cake too. Excellent stuff. Well, a little tea. We've got cake. Maybe missing my lovely wife, and here she is. Earlier the river was a bit high. As you can see, here's a sort of an overflow area, not really a sluice gate as such, and that's the fields flooded going back quite a way. I mean, that's a regular floodplain, we do see that flooded now and again, but I never realised it came from this river here. So there we are, canal, well, the river pouring out. It isn't affecting the flow too much, we're doing alright. But there's certainly a lot of water in that field. Doesn't surprise me the amount of rain we've had of late. Better view of it there, look, flooding away. Quite a flow there. No doubt the council decide this is a great place to build houses in the future. Sorry, political point, I'm keeping up on it. We have seen it around the country, haven't we? Floodplains being suddenly new housing estates. No, I don't think anybody would be that daft for here. And that's where we've come from. So we moored up. Let's say you come round that bend there with no sign whatsoever there's a lock here, and then there's the mooring points here and here. And there seems to be a lot of locks with bridges to walk to, where Linda has to walk across the bridge a fair old way. So again, here's the Stort emptying into the little brook. Very nice. That's obviously the lot we're heading for. Every single lock has been set the wrong way going. Then they've got to shut the doors as always, shut the gates, because they're always left open. Parndon Mill Lock 11, this one. And that's where the water goes off down there, and sort of, as we've seen, drains into those fields and the river over there. Right, get back to the boat, finish my tea. Well, after waxing lyrical about how wonderful everything was going and how everything was working so well, we've hit a bit of a snag. Started off with a really strong wind. I mean, the river is ever so flooded. It's breaking its banks in places, and it's really choppy. We're sort of on waves like this in the wind. We've never done anything like that before. But we knew there was a really good sheltered spot up ahead from walking this canal, so we went headed towards that. But just as we got there, we were about to moor up, there was this horrible sound from the engine, sort of a shrieky, kind of very odd noise. And we weren't obviously sure what that was. And at the same time as I was worried about that, I noticed that the charging light had come on. It was no longer charging. Now my first thought on listening to this sound was it sounds like a, an alternator bearing's gone or something like that. And then of course it stopped charging. So my money at the moment is definitely on we have an alternator problem. Hopefully it's a bit more serious than that because they can be changed. So we've took the opportunity to chill out. I'm having a nice cup of tea and while I think about things. Linda's doing a jigsaw in the background there, which is chilling out too. And we phoned the River and Canal Rescue people who we've got an account with. So we've paid for that, might as well use it. They're sending out an engineer, and the engineer, when they turn up, we'll be hearing about what, 45-50 minutes they're going to turn up in. And so we'll find out what the problem is, can it be fixed, how long it'll be, whatever. So all we can do is wait. Been good so far. These things happen. So I'm waiting for the engineer. He's just phoned me in a few minutes. It's a lovely little spot. It's quite sheltered of over the busy road to the right, which you can hear. But just to show you what I said about flooding, as you can see, the fields around here, it is a floodplain, always has been, but there's a lot of wet in there. And just up there's the next lock where we were hoping to get to, and if we can get this show on the road, we'll be turning round just up there, just past those ducks. And anyway, let's see what's wrong. This is Hunsdon Mill Lock number 12. We're moored just round the corner on the right there. I just want to have a look because the water's very fast. You can see the runoff bypassing the lock from the river. You can see there's quite a current there, and I must admit, coming out the lock there, you'd be taken straight to one side. There was a real heavy flow, as you can see here. And there's two Egyptian geese, look. You get a few of those around here now, the Egyptian geese. Scared them off. Yeah, there's quite some flow. And of course the fields behind well flooded. But this lock is beautiful. We often walk here in the past. It's a stunning place. And it's a lovely place to moor. And just over there in a white van, pulled up, is our engineer. Well, the engineer's just been, and rather frustratingly, started it up, no noise, charging's working. He's pretty convinced it was a slipping fan belt. And I thought, well, why didn't it do it for 3 days? And he says, I've no idea, but it's charging, not making a noise, we've revved it. I'll do it a few more times, I've done, hear that, absolutely fine. No idea why it suddenly started making a noise and slipping. I'll have to keep my eye on that, maybe need a new belt, shouldn't do. So anyway, that's sort of good news really. Means we can carry on our journey. Although having looked at the last lock, you saw the water in there, I think we might just stay here tonight. Incidentally, while the chap was here, I said he explained some of the electrics to me, because being a boat mechanic he knew it, which is handy. And I asked him about that battery charge engine spur thing, and he pointed out to me, I didn't know, never leave it on the battery charge settings when you're running the engine or anything other than when you're in the marina plugged in, because that runs off 240 volts, and that would explain what's going on. It's running a loop. the battery's producing 240 volts in the inverter, and the inverter's powering the battery charger. I thought something like that was going on. So easy when you have the explained where we are. So hopefully the charging is sorted. Hopefully I know the position of nearly every switch bar 1 now in the boat. We're getting there. Right, well, we're not going to carry on cruising tonight because it's getting cold, a bit windy. Forecast for tomorrow is good, so we're going to moor up for the whole night here. It's a lovely place, and we'll have a pleasant night and then cruise off back towards the what do we call it, the marina in the morning. Okay.
Good morning, my lovelies.
Good morning.
The sun has got its hat on. Hip 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 hooray. The sun has got its hat on, and we're going out to play. Well,
Thank you for that, Linda.
that's all right. We survived
Storm
Storm Dudley, bombarded with twigs and branches all night, but other than that, we're fine.
It was pretty hectic, wasn't it? At times we were quite worried. As I said yesterday, the river was really high and the fields are flooded, so we were hoping we'd still be moored in the same place, weren't we?
Well, bright side, we're moored on the same place, and the river seems to have gone down, and the fields don't seem quite as flooded this morning.
So we've heard in the news that was the back end of Storm Dudley, which affected the north, but we've got Storm Eunice, I think he said, coming, Eunice, something like that,
Something
coming,
like that.
and it's going to hit the south, and it's going to be horrendous, and it's worrying, gale storm warnings, and that's tomorrow. So I think that'll be it for this week and our travels down the Stort. I think we'll have to turn around and decide what to do, see if we can get back to the marina or whatever, but that's for later. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed our trip down the Stort, and if you did like it, you know what to do. Press the like button, and please subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.